Hello and welcome to the Power BI October 2020 update. In this video, we'll explore what's new this month and see some demos of the highlights. We have some exciting new updates for you this month in the reporting section. First, we're happy to announce Canvas watermarks. For new Power BI users, it can be difficult to know where to start. Now, when you create a new report, instead of a blank canvas, you'll see some helpful tips guiding you through getting data, creating new visuals, and populating the fields pane. You'll even be able to access a sample dataset to get you started building visuals more quickly. Rosie will take us through this new feature.
In this month's release, we have now added Canvas watermarks to the blank canvas. So when new users enter the product, they will understand what steps to take first. Here you'll see 3 of our top most popular data sources, as well as a new sample data set that we've included directly into desktop. When users click on Try a Sample Data Set, they will be presented with 2 options. They can take our tutorial online, which will launch another window with our documentation and follow along, or they can simply load the data in and experiment on their own. If they click Load Data, it'll take them to our navigator, which is the same experience if they had clicked on their own data and loaded it in. Here they can preview the data and load into desktop. We've also added an animation to make it more obvious that the fields pane is where your data will live after data is loaded in. And as a next step, new users will understand that they can build visuals now that they have data by selecting or dragging from the fields pane onto the report canvas.
Next, personalized visuals is now generally available. We previewed this feature as a way to help our end users make tweaks to visualizations within Reading View. With this release, we've also added a number of improvements to the feature, including drag and drop support, first-time coach marks, a Don't Summarize option, and enabling the feature at page level. We've also included Embed for your organization. Sujatha will show us a demo of all these new improvements.
Back in May, we released a public preview of personalized visuals, which allowed end users to customize and tweak visuals to meet their needs. Now this month, we're excited to announce that the feature is now generally available. With this release, we've added several usability improvements and extended support for common embed scenarios. For end users, we now support drag and drop functionality. For example, this can be used to drag a field from one input to another. So here we've moved type from the legend to the axis of the visual. Another example is for table or matrix where you want to quickly change the order of the columns. So in this table, let's quickly move global sales closer to the left side of the table. For report consumers, we've also included contextual coach marks to help first-time users of this feature. When a new user lands on a report page with personalized visuals enabled, they can see the following coach mark on Personalize This Visual icon. Additionally, once the user makes their very first change, or personalization, they can see the following coach mark on the bookmark button, letting them know how they can save their personalized view. We've also added the ability for end users to change the default aggregation to Don't Summarize. For example, in this table visual, you do not want to aggregate a certain column, but instead you want to see the raw values, so you can switch that to Don't Summarize. The last usability improvement we added is for report creators. Previously, report creators could turn this feature on or off either at a report or visual level. Now we've added the ability to turn on or off this capability for all the visuals on a given page. You'll find this new option in the page settings. And for the last update, as mentioned earlier, we've also extended support for embed scenarios. Let's see a couple examples of this. So here's an example of a report in Teams that I'm able to explore on the fly. And I can tweak and change it just like I could in Power BI Service. Now here's another example with the newly added bookmarks pane so that I can not only explore the report, but I can also save my view for later.
Next, we've added tree map support for our data point rectangle select preview feature. Now you can click and drag to create a selection rectangle in TreeMap visuals, selecting every option that overlaps with the rectangle. In the Analytics section, we're excited to announce that we've extended support for export data to Q&A visuals. You'll find this option in the Context menu by clicking the 3 dots in the visual header, just as in a standard visual. We also have a few updates for you in the Data Preparation section. First, we're previewing a powerful new feature in dynamic mQuery parameters. This allows mQuery parameters to be dynamically updated by report consumers based on their filter or slicer selections. Authors can optimize the performance of this query, allowing end users access to more of the raw data without costing them snappy performance. Sujatha will walk us through this feature.
When filtering and interacting with a direct query report, end users want the best of both worlds: snappy performance and access to more of the raw data. For those looking for more query performance optimizations without compromising on report interactivity, we're introducing a new public preview feature, Dynamic mQuery Parameters. This new feature allows mQuery parameters to be dynamically updated by the report consumer based on their filter or slicer selections. By giving authors control over how end users' filters gets incorporated into the source query, they can optimize the performance of the query and also allow end users to freely interact with the report using slicers or filters. Let's take a look at the end user experience. You'll see that the end user experience will feel the same as a standard report, meaning that by simply changing a filter, the query parameter is automatically updated based on their selection. Previously, this was something that was not possible at all. Now let's take a look at how we can set this up as the report author. To get started, we'll need to first turn on the preview feature. So be sure to go to Preview Features and select Dynamic mQuery Parameters. Note that you may want to check out the documentation in case your scenarios are not supported. Because these are M-based data source scenarios, sources such as SQL Server would not be supported as that relies on native query, not mQuery, to pass the parameters. So once you have this feature switch enabled, let's see the next step of setting up the parameter. So I'm going to go over to my Kusto query and hit Edit Query. Now let's take a look at the parameters that I've set up here. So I have 3 different parameters, so I'm going to go to Manage Parameters. And you'll see here that we have 3 that are different types, so 2 of them are both date time, and then 1 of them is text. So let's use end time parameter as our example. So I'm going to go into the Advanced Editor to see how the parameter was referenced in the query. You'll see here that by referencing the parameter in the query, I can optimize for performance because I have full control over how this filter gets incorporated into the source query. Notice that by filtering before I do a more expensive operation, such as the make series count, I'm helping improve the performance. Now let's take a look at the columns that I use to bind to the parameter. So you'll need to create columns that can be used as values as inputs to the parameter. So let's take, for example, the end date time. So I've created a very simple table here that uses the calendar function to just generate the date range, which I'm interested in. So once I have this column created, let's switch now to the modeling tab. So in the modeling tab, let's make sure that we select the column that we want to map to the parameter, and then select Advanced. And if you scroll down, you'll see this option that says Bind to Parameter, and let's select the appropriate parameter. Notice that you'll only see the parameters that match the exact data type as the field you're trying to map to. So in this case, we just see the start time and end time parameter, which can be mapped to the current field. Keep in mind that parameters can only be mapped one-to-one. So if you have 2 date scenarios, you'll need to create 2 separate columns for each parameter. And you'll also notice down here, there is a multi-select option. So by default, it's turned off. But if you have a multi-select scenario, you can go ahead and turn this on, but be sure that how you reference the parameter accommodates for that multi-selection. So now that we've mapped the parameter, we can now reuse the mapped field anywhere as a filter or a slicer or even a drill through. But again, keep in mind that because this is single select in this scenario, you'll want to limit it to a single select slicer, as you don't want to cause errors for your end user. And now we can try out some values, and you see here that as the query updates, it's also updating the parameter.
Next, we're excited to announce automatic table detection from Excel files. When using the Excel connector, this new feature will automatically identify sections of each spreadsheet to extract into a table and show them under a suggested tables group in the navigator. Previously, unless data was formatted as tables or named ranges in Excel, users had to scrape the relevant rows or columns with specific transforms from worksheet objects. This feature can be enabled in the Settings dialog. We're also excited to announce automatic table detection from JSON files. When using the JSON connector, this feature will automatically flatten the JSON into a table. Previously, users had to flatten records or lists manually. We've also added support for new line delimited JSON. This feature can be enabled in the Settings dialog. Next, we have several updates for you in the data connectivity section. First, we've brought broader geographical support to the Power Platform Data Flows connector. The connector now supports Germany, the United Arab Emirates, Switzerland, and South Africa endpoints. Next, the MariaDB team has updated their connector that was introduced last month to now support direct query, empowering users to run more intensive reports against their MariaDB server. We have also updated the SharePoint Online list connector to provide improved performance and greater usability. With this connector, we are making available the all and default views for the same data. The default view is what you will see when looking at the list online in whichever view you have set as default in your settings, whereas the all view includes all user-created and system-defined columns. New this month is the Spigot connector. Spigot Innovation Management software enables you to easily uncover groundbreaking ideas, manage them, and bring them to market with minimal effort from your innovation team. You can find this connector in the other category of the Get Data dialog. We are also introducing the eWay CRM connector. eWay CRM is a CRM system embedded right into Microsoft Outlook. It helps companies all around the world with their CRM agenda, project management, and business opportunities. You can find this connector in the other category of the Get Data dialog. In the service section, we're releasing updates to the new look experience based on your feedback during public preview. We've made navigation updates to give you more space to work with your content, provided options for report authors to configure their page navigation, updated the action bar for quicker access to common actions, and more. And as the new look is moving towards becoming the default experience for all users, look out for a setting to appear in your admin portal where you can enable the new look for all your users and remove the old and new toggle from the header. In the mobile section, we've released the Power BI app for HoloLens 2, bringing insights into the real world through augmented reality. Users can get report pages and dashboards onto their HoloLens 2, and once they do, visuals will update in real time and persist until removed. Michal will show us a demo.
Hey, in this video we will see a demo of the new Power BI app for HoloLens 2. This video will show you the app from the user's point of view as he sees it when wearing HoloLens 2. Our user is a building manager who is walking around the campus checking the status of different areas. Using Power BI from HoloLens, the building manager can access the data from anywhere. All favorite reports and dashboards are accessed from the tool belt, and the user can pick any item to get a closer look at the data. Since the entire space is the user's view, he can also pick another item to have a side-by-side view. Resizing and placement is done with intuitive hand gestures. With the pages index on the right, the user can navigate between pages. Wait, It seems that there are too many open incidents in the elevators. In the West Building elevator corridor, there is a pre-placed digital report with the status of all elevators. Additional reports were also placed next to each elevator, showing more information of the elevator itself. To get a closer look, all the user needs to do is to reach his hand and bring it closer.
Further, report pages using automatic page refresh will now also be refreshed in the Windows app, allowing your presentations and slideshows to update in real time, ensuring you always see the latest business data and insights. Lastly, for iPhone and iPad users, we now support notch displays, giving you more screen space for reports and dashboards. We have several new updates for you in the embedded section. First, Power BI APIs now support the viewer role. You can assign this role to users who need to view content within workspaces without the ability to modify it. Second is a collection of improvements to Power BI Embedded Analytics. Embedded Analytics will reflect Power BI's new look. Personal bookmarks will now be available to embed for your organization. Embedded Analytics now supports personalized visuals, and the report action bar and persistent filters are coming to embed for your organization. Keep an eye out for all of these changes as they roll out to Power BI Embedded. In the visualization section, we're excited to announce that extended admin capability features are now generally available. With these capabilities, Power BI admins can import and manage AppSource visuals directly on the organizational visuals page in the admin portal. Any AppSource visual imported to the organizational store will retain Power BI certification and will automatically be updated when a new version is available. Additionally, Power BI admins can pick any visual from the organizational store to show up automatically in the visualizations pane of all signed-on organization members in both desktop and service. We also have a bevy of new and updated visuals available for you on AppSource. New this month are the Clustered Stacked Bar Chart by Def Team Solutions, the Hierarchical Bar Chart by ExcelandAccess.com, the HTML Content Visual by Daniel Marsh-Patrick, Process.Science, Process Mining by Process.Science, and the Overview, Image, Timeline, and User List Visuals, all by CloudScope. Updated visuals this month include Zebra BI Charts, Zebra BI Tables, the Roadmap Visual by AdWise, all of the visuals by Zoom Charts, and the Bullet Chart by XViz. More information on all of the new and updated visuals can be found on our blog and in their respective links in the video description below. Lastly, continuing to the Editor's Pick series, this month's Editor's Picks are the HTML Content Visual by Daniel Marsh-Patrick, the Funnel Pyramid Chart by XViz, the Individual Control Chart by PQ Systems, the Column Chart with Upper and Lower Bounds by 3AG Systems, the Radar Chart by MAQ Software, and the Drill Down PyPro Visual by Zoom Charts. You can find these Editor's Picks and all of the other mentioned visuals on AppSource. Next, in the Template Apps section, we're excited to announce a new, simplified installation process for template apps. Template apps allow you to save time by connecting your own data to a pre-built report that you can personalize and share. From this month onwards, apps that support this feature can be installed with pre-populated authentication and privacy settings. We've also updated the configuration stage to include a link to the app's documentation and improved the behavior for required parameters. We have also extended support for list parameters. Further, as the Template Apps gallery continues to grow, we have added a new way for you to find those templates directly from Power BI Desktop. Now you can find a new link to discover template apps in the Get Data dialog. Once you finish installing and connecting the data to the template, you can build your own report by connecting to the dataset, just like any other dataset in Power BI. In the community section, we're excited to announce the Power Platform Community Conference on the 22nd of October. To register, go to aka.ms/POPCC. And if you haven't connected with our Power BI community yet, now is a great time to do so. Go to community.powerbi.com and register to connect, learn, find solutions and discuss Power BI with business intelligence experts and your peers. The Power BI community is also a great place for you to showcase what you do and see the amazing work other community members have posted in our Data Stories gallery each month. If you want to contribute to the Data Stories gallery for October and November, it's not too late. The theme for October is Power BI and Excel better together, and the theme for November is accessibility. We'll be looking out for those reports that include accessibility features. And who knows, you could win some cool Power BI swag. We also have a few miscellaneous updates for you this month. First, you can now export data sources to PBIDS in Power BI Desktop. Last year, we released PBIDS as a new file format that allowed users to start from a file that already has a data source connection, streamlining the Get Data experience. Now you can automatically generate these connection files from within Power BI Desktop. You can use this feature by going to the Data Source Settings section of the Options dialog, selecting the data source you want to export, and selecting Export PBIDS. Next, we're excited to unveil a new icon for Power BI. This new icon matches the new Fluent design system you may have seen in other products like Office and Dynamics, while maintaining the core of Power BI's character and its signature color. We hope you like it. Lastly, we've added a Dismiss button to the desktop splash screen. Now, if you accidentally launch Power BI Desktop, you can close the application directly from the splash screen instead of having to wait for it to fully load. And that's all for this month. We hope you enjoy the updates and please keep sending us feedback on what you'd like to see in upcoming releases. Thanks for watching and we'll see you again next month.